Hello everybody and welcome to My Thoughts, the show where I give my thoughts on new Cars diecast reveals and other pieces of news about the Cars series. And today is a very exciting day. Not only do we have some interesting looks at some new 2024 Cars diecast re-releases, we also have two brand new releases from Cars on the Road and two brand new releases from a new sub-series called the GRC. If you didn't already see this on the thumbnail or anywhere else on the internet, guys, we're getting a new World Grand Prix Racers Expanded Universe line this year. I couldn't believe my eyes either. So let's get right into it. Of course, before we get to the super interesting stuff, we got to go through some of the boring stuff. Okay, for 2024, we're getting a re-release of Artist Ramon again. Racing Center Cruz is coming back again. We have images of the 2024 re-release of Mateo. From what I've heard, he wasn't that hard to find, but if you missed out on Mateo, get another chance at him this year. And Ruby Easy Oaks, a Piston Cup racer that is re-released pretty frequently. So none of these new re-releases are really all that interesting in my opinion, but we do have, you know, they are new re-releases, so I just wanted to share them. More importantly though, we have our first look at one of the Tokyo Mater cars coming out for this year. We knew from rumor lists and leaks that we'll be getting Yokoza, Manji, and Komodo. And we have our first look at Komodo here, who is notably different than his original release. This Thailand variant of Komodo is a much darker green color that, in my opinion, matches like a reptile much more. I don't think it's as accurate as his original one was, honestly, but I really quite like it. It's an interesting alternative, interesting Thailand variant, and he also has metallic hubcaps there, which is pretty cool, pretty interesting. May actually pick this one up, just because he looks so different from the original. Anyway, moving into new releases, we have finally figured out who Jessica Carville and Jason Roedke are, two cars who have been on some rumor lists, but we didn't know who they were. Jason Roedke here is a Road Rumbler, one of the Road Rumblers that in the show is clearly based on Fishtail's mold, but for the diecast here, he seems to have gotten his own unique mold that, again, just uses many elements of Fishtail's. Very funny to see, you know, one of the many background characters on the road based on Demolition Derby cars getting a diecast, and like you look at that artwork and man, it's so totally just modified Fishtail, but the diecast is very different. Glad that the Road Rumbler army is continuing to expand. Most of them were this very dingy, dirty metal color scheme, and I'm glad we're finally getting one that is that color scheme. So far we've gotten the Chiefess, who's this gold color, Jeremy, who's blue, and Squat, who's more of an off-white. But yeah, most of like the army of them were all just this dirty metal color, so I'm glad to see we're getting at least one of those. Hopefully we get a few more. And then we have Jessica Carville, a car that I'm much more excited for than I should be. This is like the production assistant car in the B-movie episode. She, of course, is based on Guido's model, but in a very nice shade of pink. And she has her little clipboard. This is really fun, just to try to help, you know, just to try to help justify the price point, because she's a pity all by herself. She does include a little traffic cone accessory, nothing we haven't seen before. I really would have preferred if they tried to give her a more unique accessory, you know, something more related to the movie and B-movie, I don't know what, but if you could even just give her like a blank box labeled props or something, you know, I would have much preferred to see that. But otherwise, this is a release I'm really excited for. Pink Guido repaint looks really nice, and I also just really like that clipboard. There's a lot you could do with this car, especially if you do a Cars series. I could definitely think of several uses for her, just being a car with a clipboard anyway. I just wanted to give those new releases their time in the spotlight, because they are going to be totally overshadowed by a new line introducing the Global Racers Cup, or GRC. Guys, your eyes do not deceive you. we're getting a new World Grand Prix Racer variant line in 2024. Absolutely insane. It's been so long since we've gotten one of these. I thought it would never happen again post Cars 3. I thought it would be all next-gen variants forever, but no. We have a Cars 2 McQueen and a Francesco variant. This is a really, really, really promising line. I'm going to very briefly talk about my thoughts on the designs, and then I'll go over some rumors and leaks for how this line will continue and be released, so make sure you stick around for that. Yeah, I think these are both really solid designs. I recently said in my Expanded Universe line tier list that I think the main problem with a lot of the TROC lines is that they all made the racers incorporate a certain color. Like, all the ice racers had to have a light blue on them, and I said in that video, it works better on some of them than on others, and that I wasn't a big fan of them all having to incorporate the same colors, because some colors mix well, and some clash, and some don't. But in the case of this line, it seems the colors we're getting are basically black and white, right? And I think that's great, because black and white are two colors that mesh with, you know, basically anything. I've heard a lot of talk from my friends and from people on my server about how much they love just how modern these cars look, and yeah, they really do. These guys look sleek. I love this Francesco. Not the biggest fan of the McQueen. I really don't like the all-black hood. It kind of reminds me of the Rocket Racers line, but McQueen with this white on him is honestly, like, it's very unique. It's very cool. I really like what they're going for here with this color scheme. But I think what may very well be my favorite thing about this line is just how cleverly it works into the Cars lore. This is not the first time we've seen the GRC logo, far from it. GRC is the logo on Raul Cerul's hood. It's the league that he races for. So to base an entire Expanded Universe line off of that, I think is just so clever. I assume, you know, the lore behind it will be much like how each TROC race was sort of themed around a certain World Grand Prix racer in a certain part of the world. It seems that the GRC, who is, again, Raul's sponsor, wants to host a race, seemingly in Radiator Springs. You could see Willys Butte in the background. And, you know, all the racers get these GRC designs on them. And I think that's just so clever. Taking something that's been on a racer that we've known for years and expanding on it is such a clever, clever way to work this line into the Cars lore. Another question you may be asking about this line is, when does it take place? Is it between Cars 2 and 3, like all the other TROC lines were, or is it after Cars 3, like all the Expanded Universe lines we've been getting after Cars 3 have been? And we'll actually get back to that in just a minute as we begin to talk about how this line will be released and who else seems to be a part of it. Because, guys, a bunch of people on my server have been doing incredible work putting together all of the pieces that we know about this line, and it seems that this isn't going to be a store exclusive line. It seems like this is actually going to be a part of the regular old 2024 main line. There are a few main factors going towards this theory, beyond the fact that, you know, they were revealed alongside some regular old 2024 new mainline releases. They also have the exact same code punched into their card back that the other new releases from today have, suggesting that they're probably from the same case. Expanded Universe lines, from my experience, are not going to have the same code as cars in the main line. This seems to be these cars being a part of the main line. So it seems that the GRC this year is the 2024 line's equivalent to the D100 cars last year, or the Racing Red cars in 2021. It's a special set of Cars diecasts released as part of the main line as sort of a special thing. Now, well, I think that's pretty cool, and it will definitely make it easier to get. I think it's a great choice for people that are, you know, in regions where they don't have stores like Target or Walmart that these lines are typically exclusive to, so they get a chance to get it. You know, it's a bit more worldwide friendly. It does make me a little concerned, though, that we won't be able to get all of the World Grand Prix racers, at least not in 2024. You know, with any luck, yes, we'll get all like 12 or so, but I'm a little afraid that we'll only get about half. But hopefully, if we get half this year, then we get half next year. Hopefully, that would be really nice to see. I really hope we get all of them. And speaking of which, speaking of other ones, it's time to talk about who else seems to be a part of this line. Because guys, the existence of the GRC line was right in front of us the entire time, and we didn't even realize it. You see, several cars on 2024 diecast rumor lists for cars in the main line have had World Grand Prix written in front of their names. WGP McQueen, Francesco, Carla Veloso, Max Schnell, and finally WGP Jackson Storm. WGP Jackson Storm definitely turned some heads when it was leaked. Just that name made people very confused. I almost did an entire video on it talking about how I think it'd be a pretty cool concept designing a World Grand Prix style Jackson Storm. It doesn't have to be canon, it could just be a fun thing they make. Well, I now believe that cars with the WGP prefix were just code for GRC cars. And if that's the case, that means that we're getting Carla, Max, and Jackson Storm, which is pretty interesting and confirms that yes, this line does take place after Cars 3. And if that's the case, I really don't mind. You know, if adding Cars 3 cars is what they have to do to make this line sell better, I really don't mind, you know. I don't know if that's the reason behind it. Who cares? I don't really mind that. We're getting a new World Grand Prix variant line, and I think it's cool that Jackson gets to join in on the fun. Hopefully that means we'll also get a cruise, and hey, that means that Jackson Storm and Francesco Bernoulli have canonically met, and I think that's pretty funny. Now again, we don't have any confirmation on this just yet, but I'd say whenever new leaks and rumors come out, definitely keep an eye out for any that have WGP before them, because they could very well also be part of the GRC line. Yes, you could say, hey, wouldn't World Grand Prix mean it's the Cars 2 variant? Yeah, it could, but then how would that explain Jackson? It seems WGP is just their code for GRC. So there you have it, guys. Some very, very exciting new reveals for today. 2024 was already shaping up to be an insanely good year for the Cars diecast line, and now it's shaping up to be even more interesting. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about these cars in the comments, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye now.